was in the commentary box. 2019, India required 25 of 10 balls. Ferguson bowls, shot of length, onto the body. MS knocks it beyond square leg. They're going to push for two. Who is going to cover the keeper? Who is going to cover the keeper? Stump, dead throw, direct hit. Is this the World Cup? It's Martin Guptill. It's the magic three-letter word, out. Is this the last time MS Dhoni leaves the big stage? India, stunned. India bundles out, loses by 18 runs. Not the barest of margin, but then New Zealand go on to lose by the barest of the margin in 2019 final. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we the gully cricketers, bringing you the pre-match conversation on India versus New Zealand, going to be held tomorrow at New Zealand tomorrow, at Mumbai tomorrow. Who's going to hold the nerve this time? All the heartbroken fans will be able to avenge the direct hit that Martin Guptill had. कौन लेगा माई बाई का बदला? क्या अपना शाना रोहित ले पाएगा या अपना चीकू ले पाएगा? Let's see that. Wish you all, first of all, happy Diwali to all our viewers.
Happy Diwali, everyone.
Guys, how are you feeling? Big game coming up.
I'm feeling particularly festive, and 2019 semi-final notwithstanding, I'm not scared of this team.
Yeah.
The New Zealanders certainly are scared of our team. There's no doubt about who the playing 11 is going to be. There's no question marks about the selection, and this team is firing on all cylinders. I'm feeling festive for Diwali as it is, but I think there's some more firecrackers I've left in my basement over here. I wish I could show you, but it's best that I don't. I'm keeping them for the semifinals and the finals. I'm very optimistic.
Yogesh.
Yeah. What a game it was in 2019. Absolutely fantastic game. A lot of ups and downs. India was on the fence in the initial overs, and then Jadeja with his blinder of an innings took India close, and then Guptill's run out. So everybody from that day is looking forward to an India-New Zealand matchup. And we have come to a stage where we are again playing in the semifinals. So it is going to be an excellent matchup. The whole of India will be rooting not just for an Indian victory, but also to get back at New Zealand because of that single run out.
Absolutely. That's there in everybody's mind.
Absolutely. So we'll see where we are headed. I think it was going to be a cracker of a game. India has also been in a great touch as they were in the 2019 World Cup. In 2019, India lost just one game against England in the whole series, and the next game was against New Zealand. This time, India is unbeaten, so they are one up already, and we'll see New Zealand on the other side. After a wonderful start of 4 games, New Zealand then started losing games, and then they were somehow able to scrape through to get the net run rate ahead and then qualify in the top 4. So these are the same 4 semifinalists that also showed up in the 2015 World Cup. Just that the teams were reversed. India played Australia that time, but these are the same 4 semifinalists. So we'll see how things pan out. And in my opinion, it's going to be a one-sided game. India is going to go over New Zealand and roll them over pretty easily. We'll go over more details, but that's how I think it will.
That's a great call. In fact, that's what everyone feels this time, guys. Everyone feels the same. I haven't seen a strong, confident Indian side like this before, saying this is my 11. This is where it's going to be. You can't muck around with us. And they're very confident, and they're not going to be very. They are smart enough to get their 11. They are smart in a way that they're not getting anyone into the injury list. They even tried 9 bowling options in the last game. That was good. Good to see Kohli getting some wickets. Good to see Rohit getting some wickets. So that's great. Now, talking about, we've spoken about this now, talking about I know we always say strength and weakness. What's the strength and weakness do you guys feel from an Indian perspective?
It's all strengths. It's all strengths. Where is the weakness? Show me one weakness. Well, okay, I'll tell you one weakness. Number 8 batsman, not so good. Now again, have we needed the number 7 or number 8 batsmen? Not really. So not too bothered, but we've been getting fantastic starts from the bowling department, from the batting department. Yes, a couple of times we were 2 runs for 3 wickets against Australia. We had a little bit of an issue against England, but we haven't come to a point where there are 35 runs needed, 4 wickets in hand, and 20 balls left.
Yeah.
And if it comes to that, that's where I'm a little concerned. India might have a disadvantage. Other than that, I don't see any disadvantages in this Indian team.
I would like to point out that
Yeah.
not having the sixth regular bowler might
Yeah.
hurt India in one of these knockout games.
Yeah.
In the previous game against New Zealand in Dharamshala,
Yeah.
Daryl Mitchell took Kuldeep Yadav to the cleaners.
To the
He
cleaners,
just logged
yes.
him
Yeah.
over long on, long off. And that's when India were in a touch of trouble.
Yeah.
And so that is one area. India tried to rectify that by using 9 bowlers in the last game against Netherlands, and
Yeah.
a couple of them also got wickets. So we'll see
Yeah.
how the off spin of Shubman Gill, Surya Kumar Yadav, and Rohit Sharma pan out, as well as the wrong-footed Kohli. I hope they can get the ball. However, I think that's one area, small area of concern,
Yeah.
uh, because Wankhede is a belter of a pitch.
Yeah.
It takes a bit of time to
Yeah.
get your groove on Wankhede if you're a batsman, but
Yeah.
once you are in, you can take the opposition to the cleaners and just take the game
Well, we
away.
just saw what Maxi did. So you're right.
Absolutely,
You're spot on.
absolutely, yeah. And see, it's not Wankhede did a swing and bounce a bit, but if you get your eye in, that's what
Yeah.
happened with Maxwell as well. Afghanistan had no way to stop him. So it's also about applying yourselves, even though there is a lot of talk about swinging under lights and
Yeah.
the bounce. If you apply yourself and stay there, Wankhede is a much decent pitch to bat on. So that's one area for India of concern. But I think there are 5 bowlers have been really in the pick of things. So we should be okay.
I think
Yeah.
you guys have covered it up perfectly well. Rahul, you had something to say over there.
Yeah, honestly, I think unless one or two individuals decide to play a blinder of an
Yeah.
inning
Yeah.
or a blinder of a bowling spell,
Yeah.
I think New Zealand's going to find the going to go tough.
I only found one weakness, and that's that spot where I feel if so far the top order, the middle order has been consistent. If we see ourselves 70 for 5 or 80 for 6, something like that, then we're in trouble because we don't have that all-rounder, batting all-rounder who can come and do the trick. But having said that, India has been consistent with their bowling, so they are backing with that 5 bowling options, and they're pretty good with their batting lineup in terms of their top order and middle order. They have done that very, very well, and they have been consistent. Even if top has failed, or top has not failed at all, to be honest. To Rohit, the brisk start he gives, and Gill has looked good. So everyone is looking perfect. That's the only weakness I can think. But coming back to New Zealand, boy, New Zealand have done well. They looked good, and then they went out of the park somewhere, but then they come back and they have made it to the semi-final.
Yeah, 4 losses on the trot.
Yep.
Well, they were preceded by 4 wins on the trot, and they were looking one of the hottest teams of the tournament. Then 4 losses, and then peaking at the right time. Maybe I don't know. But yeah, Daryl Mitchell, Kane Williamson, Devon Conway, Rachin Ravindra. These are all very capable players, and on their day they can dismantle even the best of the bowling attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. New Zealand has been very good in knockouts as well as in ICC tournaments. We all know their history. I want to remind
Unfortunately,
everybody.
we do.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to remind everybody of the discussion that typically the English media had pointed to, that Indians play under pressure in knockout games because there is expectations, and that's one of the main reasons why they are not able to play freely.
Was it Michael Vaughan?
I think it was Nasir Hussain and Simon Doon, both of them. Simon Doon was visiting England and he was also on the panel, and both of them claimed. So we really want to test it out at this time. We really want to see if that is really true, because we have made it semis to every World Cup played in the past decade. And then we have not been able to convert on last 2 occasions. And so they are not wrong. And we'll see how freely does this team play, and are they really able to break the shackles, not take pressure of the expectations. Wankhede crowd is loud. Wankhede is a smaller stadium compared to Ahmedabad, but the crowd is loud.
I think it just goes, Ahmedabad Stadium goes out like that, whereas Wankhede brings it in, so you can probably hear someone saying something, and that can happen from time to time.
If
Yeah.
Wankhede decides to expand a little bit, I think the railway tracks of Mumbai will be completely screwed.
Now that
Yeah.
can never happen. That's a
Yeah.
lifeline. You are not touching the lifeline. Coming back to the upper hand, boy. I mean, obviously, from the stats perspective, New Zealand have got an upper hand, 5-4 in 9 matches they lead. Their highest total so far in the World Cup has been 274. India very similar, 273. So both teams have managed around that 275 mark. But remember, this was the times before the T20, so that was an average score. Now, India's record in Mumbai, from a stat perspective, is 12 out of 21 matches so far, whereas New Zealand have just played 3 games. They won 2, slightly higher percentage, but you can't take much out of that, right? Can you?
Not really. I mean, Wankhede, I'm kind of surprised that India doesn't have a better record than that, but
Yeah,
you're obviously correct about your numbers.
yeah,
Wankhede, I feel, has been a happy hunting ground for the Indian team, but yeah, maybe not so much in the earlier days. Again, coming from a psychological edge perspective, I think New Zealand holds a psychological edge not because of these numbers, but also
yeah,
because they've beaten us in the recent knockout
2019.
tournaments in the World Test Championship
Yeah, yeah.
or the 2019 World Cup semifinal. But yeah,
Mm,
that's I don't think they have a significant advantage.
Right.
mm,
And they are also a bit tentative. They're just recovering after 4 losses. They just scraped through a
mm,
grave against Sri
mm.
Lanka. So they're also tentative with the loss of field, their key players injured out. I think they are going to be a bit unsure about can they really win this or not.
Yeah.
And so that, that 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 psychology that you come in, the mindset that you come in matters a lot in big games. So we'll see what that happens. And Simon Doon also said that he was happy when India beat New Zealand because he said New Zealand cannot beat India twice in a World Cup. So he was actually
Oh, law of
happy.
averages. He's
Law
going
of
by the law of
averages.
averages.
So it will be very interesting to see if but the law of averages really kicks in and New Zealand gets the upper hand. I don't believe so, but we'll have to wait and see.
You know what? It's very interesting. He made that point mentally, and he's playing mentally here, and that's what a lot of Western people do that from time to time. But I think India has got that mental advantage for the fact they've beaten New Zealand just recently in the first round robin, and they yes, they were under pressure. But again, we knocked them out with 4 wickets in hand, so they did well. I feel that the only upper hand New Zealand has is that 2019 game, but I think people have forgotten about it. I mean, people have not forgotten about it, but the Indian team doesn't look like they're looking back at that. So that's because they're oozing out with confidence. If you see them, they're oozing out with their confidence. They're looking very good at the moment. They're happy. Everyone is happy, celebrating Diwali, obviously. So they're all in good mode. And I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it. But 11 is the number we're going to aim for. You know what I'm talking about. Let's not talk about it. All right, coming back to the pitch, guys. Yes, we talked about Yogesh. You talked about the pitch. I know Mumbai soil, red soil, always brings in. There is that kind of in the last couple of days, media has obviously digged in a bit further. Obviously, everyone gets a bit interested in how the pitch is going to behave and all that stuff. There was this kind of analysis done where obviously the management, both sides, have looked very closely. Looks like a little bit of greenish track that does swing and seam around. Uh, do you see the same pattern? Obviously, high scoring pattern. What's your opinion, both of you?
I don't see a high
Um,
scoring game depending on who is batting. India's
Yeah,
bowling has been really dominating. So
yeah,
if India bowls first, I don't see a high scoring game there. I don't think New Zealand can cross 300. If India bats
mm,
first, we could very well cross 300 given the
yeah,
performance in the last game in Bangalore as well the one before in Kolkata.
yeah.
So that's my take on it.
yeah, and the only other thing, Wankhede. So it'll be interesting to see if they how short they keep the boundaries.
Yeah,
If they keep 55-meter boundaries on one side, then I think it has a higher chance of being a high scoring game. But
yeah,
yeah, normal boundaries, expanded boundaries, normal extended boundaries. I
yeah,
think it's not going to be a 350 type game unless India bats first.
yeah. I was just speaking to my dad. I mean, he lives in Mumbai, so obviously we have our parents and friends, relatives in Mumbai. The dew factor. I mean, I asked him, how do you think in the evening? He said, obviously, it was very humid for the past month. It's been, and that's Mumbai, typical Mumbai. It's been humid, but I don't think dew is going to be a great factor. I mean, it is pretty dry at the moment, so there is a lot of breeze. Obviously, the breeze comes over to the ground. It's not going to have a big factor on the soil. So coming back to the toss, boy, what's your take, guys? Is it win the toss, bat first?
Yes,
Or
win the toss and bat first.
yeah,
Especially in a knockout situation, win the toss and bat first. Don't overthink it.
Yogesh?
Put the
Yeah,
runs on the board
absolutely.
and defend it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, toss is going to be key. That means
Toss is the key. You
yeah,
always bat first, and then
yeah,
New Zealand has done well when they batted against Pakistan to
yeah,
score 400 odd runs. So they know that.
yeah,
Then some of their key players would be Rachin Ravindra, Kane Williamson. They want these guys to really kick in, and then
yeah.
that would happen easily if they bat first. So
Mm.
that's going to be interesting.
And let's say if they lose a toss and New Zealand bats first, and obviously Yogesh, you're going for obviously restricting them under 275, 260. You think that's going to happen? I mean, yes, we've got a strong bowling lineup. We've done that. I mean, right from Bumrah, Shami, Siraj. I mean, Wasim Akram says if these three don't get it, then obviously there's Jadeja and Yadav. So, and now we've got Kohli if needed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
250 to 260 maximum New Zealand can
Yeah.
score against this bowling lineup.
yeah. Nice, nice. Impact players, guys. Any strong impact players from each one of you? From both
I
teams?
mean, India has 11 impact players. There is not one person that I can take out of that category. And,
Yeah,
and I would not have said the same answer if you were talking to me 1 month ago.
yeah,
But India has a full lineup, batting lineup, bowling lineup. Bumrah has been instrumental in giving those bowling starts.
yeah,
Rohit has been instrumental in giving those batting starts. We
yeah.
have ridden those good starts to victories. Um, it'll be interesting if we don't get a good start.
Mm, mm.
Yeah, it would be Kohli for me, Bumrah,
Yeah,
Kohli, and probably I'll pick one out of Gill and Jadeja.
kill and Jadeja.
Rohit,
That's nice.
ironically, Rohit doesn't have a great record in international games at Wankhede.
Yeah,
I don't know why, because he has scored his domestic cricket there.
yeah,
But these are the players I would pick. It's the same as Kohli doesn't have a great ODI
yeah,
record at Bangalore. So I don't know why, but I'm really hoping for Rohit to click, but I'm
yeah.
having my doubts.
Well, talking about Rohit, I've always felt this time Rohit has got a very keen eye to hold that cup. There's something inside him, and I feel that, and that's why he's been leading the side tremendously, giving that starts. Boy, he's going to be my impact player. I think he's going to come hard on New Zealand. He does that, and he doesn't see the bowlers who it is. He just sees the ball, and off she goes out of the park. So I feel he's going to be key, obviously, but the middle order is going to be very key. If we lose early wickets, then the middle order again, Iyer, Kohli, and obviously Kale needs to be there. But from a bowling perspective, again, as you said, Bumrah and Shami. I mean, they are the key players to get that. And who knows? I mean, Rachin Ravindra, who has absolutely scored a great knock so far. He scored 565 runs just behind De Kock and Kohli. So I feel he's going to be someone Bumrah can get him out. So yeah, let's see what happens, guys. Wow, what a session we've had so far. Uh, let's hope that the best team, whoever keeps the nerves, gets there. And we are all hoping, we are all rooting for India because 130,000 people in Ahmedabad are waiting for India to win the game. Here we are. So thank you, guys. Thanks for watching us. Please subscribe, please share, please like us, and happy Diwali once again.
Happy Diwali. Go
Happy
Team
Diwali,
India.
everyone.
Go Team India.